So for day 2, there is this paper that you should have gotten separately from your notes, and you should have labeled. So in a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle, it's one of the special types of triangles. We see that the legs are both x because it means they're the same measurement. The hypotenuse is labeled as x radical 2. So these measurements only happen if it's a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. If you have a 30, 60, 90, again, we're going to label your hypotenuse. You have 2 different legs, but this is the short leg and this is the long leg. And each leg and hypotenuse has their own measurement, and they're labeled there for you. Okay? It's just wise to label, like, what is the long leg, what is the short leg, and what is the hypotenuse for your 30, 60, 90. Okay? So this particular paper, whenever you're doing special right triangles, I would use this to help you with identifying the different parts of your triangle. Okay? So the first part we're going to talk about are 45, 45, 90s. And so on the notes for those, we're just going to label what each thing is. So here are your legs, and those are x's. Your hypotenuse is x radical 2. And of course you should know that the hypotenuse is across from the right angle. It does say here on the side, the legs of a 45, 45, 90 triangle are always congruent. Always. So, looking down here, we have to find the hypotenuse. We have to find the leg. Well, we know that our 2 legs are the same. So that means that x has to be 8. Okay, let's zoom in just a little bit. So x is our leg, it's 8. Now the formula for hypotenuse is x radical 2. That means that 8 is your x, so you're going to put your 8 in for x, so 8 radical 2. In part B, our legs are right here. So they're both 25 because it's a 45, 45, 90. Again, your hypotenuse is x radical 2. So your x is your leg. Your leg, I'm sorry, it's not 20. 45 is 25. Is 25. Okay, so you're plugging that in for the x right here. So according to how they have it labeled, the y is 25, the x is 25 radical 2. But you're thinking in terms of your hypotenuse is the 25 radical 2, and your leg is the y 25. Okay, letter C, a little bit harder because you're given the hypotenuse, and you're given it as a whole number instead of this radical form. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say the hypotenuse, which is 19, equals the square root of 2 times the leg. And the leg is x and y. So we're just going to pick one of those letters. We're just going to go with x because they have to be the same amount. So x radical 2. And we already reviewed radical rules, so we're going to divide by radical 2 and get our x by itself. But we also discussed that we cannot have a radical in our denominator. And so we have to rationalize the denominator. And we do that by multiplying by the denominator. So I would do 19 times the square root of 2. And square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. And the square root of 4 we know is 2. And so this right here equals x. And that means that is your both legs. So this answer we put in both x and y. Okay. So that is how you go about finding your 45, 45, 90s. The big idea is that your leg is the same measurement and that your hypotenuse is the leg radical 2. also known as X radical 2.